Well, yeah, we covered that very extensively on the U.S. report, and Kathy Hochul, she had quite a scare there because, New York should be running as a Democrat state. But as the tide turns on this support and on the issue of migrants as well as just the general economy, I'm hearing that senior Democrats are fearing that the traditionally blue New York might turn red. There's been a top New York Democrat who says that he believes New York is actually a battleground state. Do you agree with that assessment?
I do, and maybe not for the statewide U.S. Senate seat. That's kind of an uphill battle against an incumbent. But there are a number of House of Representatives seats on Long Island and in the Hudson Valley, which have become the real battleground for Congress. The internal polling has those incumbent Democrats even losing substantially to their Republican counterparts. And all this is sort of as a result, not just of Kathy Hochul, not just of the Democratic failures in New York, but it's also of the burden of Joe Biden, this anchor of a president who is just weighing down so many people in swing districts around the state.
And with that Biden effect, then, you know that once you get sort of north of, Dutchess County, Columbia County, New York State turns quite Republican. Is there enough votes in it for Donald Trump in some of these marginal areas of New York City and possibly Long Island in the suburbs that could then bring, I think it's 28 electoral votes over into the Republican camp?
It's possible. And that's the strategy. The strategy for New York has always been for Republicans to win the upstate portions significantly, getting 60 to 70%, to lose the city, which unfortunately we most likely will. But it's these competitive suburban counties where the Republican Party has been focused on, and even where the Democratic Party has been forced to be focused on. They just lost an incumbent member, Jamal Bowman, who was a radical far left member. And they elected a moderate Democrat, a guy I served with in the state legislature. He might be a Democrat, but he's a decent human being. So we are seeing these pushbacks against Democrats in these very, very, very critical districts. If Hakeem Jeffries wants to be the Speaker of the House and not the minority leader, he has to really do a good job winning some seats in his home state. I don't think that happens with Kathy Hochul and the migrants and all the crisis here. And I don't think this happens, any chance with Joe Biden on top of the ticket.
Well, it's a great reminder that, there's so much at stake, downplay, control of the Senate, control of the House, and all of these other offices. But before I let you go, I also have to talk to you about this as a fellow New Yorker. And despite all this chaos, Mayor Eric Adams, he's now found the time to reveal that there's a new bin regime in New York. Here he is a couple of days ago. Now, what's amazing about this is apparently the city spent something like $4 million with McKinsey to figure out how to have trash bins. Tell us about this.
Well, look, this is not really a totally bad development. We have to pay consultants to figure some stuff out because our sanitation department is larger than the Army of the Republic of Ireland. So it is a pretty big system that we have to manage. And frankly, we do have a trash problem and a rat problem. And the reason we have these problems is because a lot of New Yorkers simply can't figure out how to put their trash in a proper bin. So I'm not really opposed to this. I'm opposed to the cost of this. Unfortunately, This is burden homeowners with a $45 pail that they have to buy 3 of. If it was free, like many municipalities around the country, and you pay for the service as part of your property taxes, I wouldn't have any problem with it whatsoever. I just don't want the extra cost. But we do have a rat problem, and this will hopefully solve that.
Fair enough, but you know what? I think $4 million for McKinsey, they could have asked Oscar the Grouch and gotten that advice for free. Thank you so much, Joe Borelli.